3 years ago, I looked in the mirror and I saw a man who had completely lost control of his life. I was overweight, exhausted all the time, mentally drained, and spiritually disconnected. And the worst part, I knew something had to change, but I had no idea how. So I started with the smallest step I could think of. I went for a walk. And that decision ended up changing my entire life. Part one, where I was 2022. Back in 2022, I weighed 240 pounds. Now, weight by itself doesn't tell the whole story, but the way I felt, that told everything. My energy was terrible, my confidence was low, mentally I felt stuck. Spiritually, I felt like I was drifting. I kept asking myself the same question: how did I get here? The more important question turned out to be, what can I do today that moves me in a better direction? Not a perfect direction, just a better one. At that point, I didn't have some kind of genius master plan, and I didn't suddenly become disciplined overnight. What I had was desperation mixed with curiosity, really. So I just started learning. I learned about calorie deficits. I learned how important protein is when you're trying to lose weight. And I learned something that shocked me. You don't need to hate your life and the food to lose weight. You can eat foods you enjoy. Crazy, I know. You can walk. You can eat foods you enjoy. You can improve slowly. And that was the moment everything started to shift. Part two, trial and error. Now, let me be honest with you. This process was not clean at all. It was 100% trial and error. Actually, it was mostly error with some trial mixed in. I made mistakes, a lot of them. But every single mistake taught me something. That slowly, over time, the scale had started moving. 240, 220, 200. And today, I'm just around 160 pounds. And now I'm chasing something that I thought I would never do before, that I've never had before in my entire life. At 41 years old, I am working on seeing my abs for the first time. Not because abs are everything, but because they represent something so much bigger to me. Proof that change is possible. Part three, what my days look like now. You know, these days my mornings start early, earlier than I technically need to wake up, because that quiet time before the world wakes up, that's powerful. The first thing I do is drink water. Then I take my pre-workout along with some supplements that I recently started experimenting with. I know, whatever, it's fine. They're legal, it's okay. And then once that kicks in, I go outside and I go for a walk every single day, usually 1 to 3 miles. I walk at a pace that gets my heart rate up enough to burn some body fat, but not so intense that my body starts pulling energy from muscle. That's how it works. Nothing crazy. Just consistent movement that my body actually enjoys. After the walk, I get ready for the day, and then I head to work. And that's where the second half of the strategy comes in. Part four, the nutrition system. My main goal each day is very simple. Stay under 2,000 calories and hit at least 150 grams of protein. Now, if you're hearing that and thinking, well, that sounds impossible, I promise you, it's not. It's very simple, and you just need a few simple strategies. Here's one example I use all the time. I take 2 servings of Greek yogurt, that's about 180 calories and 32 grams of protein. I'll mix in 1 scoop of whey protein. This is actually very good for your post-workout. And then that whey protein adds another 24 grams of protein with 120 calories. Now we're sitting at 56 grams of protein. Then I add a little bit of sucralose for sweetness, and then I add about half a serving, which is 20 grams of Fiber One original cereal. That adds roughly 8 grams of fiber. So what you end up with is a bowl that tastes great and gives you almost 60 grams of protein for around 350 calories. You also get some fiber. It's good for you. 90% of people don't get enough. That is just one meal, and you've already knocked out a huge portion of your daily protein. Now, the rest of the day, I keep things fairly flexible. I love using high fiber and the high fiber low carb wraps. There's several options out there. You can fill those with any lean proteins and sauces and veggies and beans and whatever direction you want. You can have a chicken wrap and a beef wrap and a breakfast wrap and a whatever wrap and a rappity wrap. Same base food, different flavors, and that variety is what makes it sustainable. Now, part 5, hydration, the underrated piece. Another huge piece people overlook is hydration. I'm a little thirsty right now. Can y'all hear that cotton mouth? Anyways, I try to drink as close to a gallon of water per day as I can. Do I hit that every day? No, but I do my best. But when I don't get enough, I know it because my body tells me. Cramping, lower back tightness. Yeah, you know. And if that's happening to you, there's a good chance you simply just need more water. A lot of people jump straight to electrolyte supplements thinking they need to hydrate. No. But if you're eating normal foods, you probably have enough. And sodium isn't the problem. Potassium can be, or magnesium could be low. Most of the time, you're simply just underhydrated. Now, part 6, food freedom. Now, one thing I want to make very clear, this approach is not about deprivation. I don't believe in suffering through life to lose weight. It just doesn't make sense. I've cut out most of the processed foods and especially foods with heavy sugars. And over time, you don't even crave those anymore. But it doesn't mean I never enjoy things. It also doesn't mean I don't consume those. I do, just every now and then. Because the real goal is not to punish yourself. The goal is to learn how to make the foods that you love work with the goals instead of working against them. Now, when you learn that food skill, everything changes. Part 7, the tough one, the mental battle. Now here's the part most people don't talk about enough, the mental side. I struggle mentally a lot. There were times during this journey when I was completely ready to give up, and if I'm being honest, I still do. I still deal with it. Sometimes that feeling still shows up, but the difference now is I've learned something important. Progress doesn't come from perfect days. It comes from just refusing to quit on the bad ones. Get up and get going. Part 8, the final piece. Sleep, recovery. Beyond calories, protein, and exercise, there are 2 more things that matter more than people realize. Sleep and recovery. Because if you're not sleeping well, everything else becomes harder. Your hunger increases, your energy drops, your discipline disappears. But when you start slowly by improving your sleep, your hydration, your nutrition, and your movement, something amazing happens. Your life begins to feel different. Not overnight. Let me stress that. Not overnight, but gradually. And one day you wake up to see something you never would have believed. Your life can change. Not through some extreme program, but through small daily improvements stacked over time. That's what this channel is about. Sharing the lessons, sharing the struggle, and helping people who feel stuck just start moving forward again. Because if a guy, this guy, who felt completely lost in 2022 can turn things around, there's a very good chance you can too. And we're gonna figure it out together.